welcome once again to Business Credit Radio. We are on blogtalkradio.com, and we're really glad that you came today. We have a great speaker today, and of course we have a great audience that's here to listen to us. In fact, they're quite spunky, as you can hear. I'm your host. My name is Phil Philbin, and I want to welcome all of our peers from around the world, from all over the United States as well. Thank you for joining us. Quick note to our callers that might be calling in. To call in, you dial 347-989-8342. Once again, that's 347-989-8342, and here's how it works. I have a studio in front of me. Once you call in, your number pops up on my studio. You punch the number 1 sign. All the instructions are on the screen for you. And then you will be identified by your area code number. And I'll bring you on and say, okay, area code number 702, you're on. Who would you like to speak with? That type of thing. And I'll direct you to myself or to our guest speaker. Once again, thank you for coming. Business Credit Radio is honored to welcome Dominick Domansky, a loving father of 2 beautiful children and a devoted husband from a small town named Greensburg, right outside Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Dominick is a graduate of the University of Pittsburgh in business management, a supporter of JDRF, an inspirational author, a motivational speaker, and a successful cold calling, door-knocking commercial insurance salesman. The love of his life are his family, business, telling stories, and basketball. Mr. Domansky arrived at inspirational storytelling and motivational speaking with a unique background. As a boy, Dominick learned the value of hard work, pulling weeds, and doing odd jobs in the field of his father's landscaping company. He took that knowledge, placed it into his passions, and carried it throughout everything in his life, from basketball to business. The only problem was he failed over and over. In 2002, Dominick quit his job to fulfill his lifelong dream of owning a restaurant. 3 years later, he was nearly $500,000 in debt, jobless, and wanted by the law, business-related, of course. His wife was pregnant with their first child that his family had struggled to have for years, and he couldn't afford to feed them. Dominick rebounded from this setback. With ever-present persistence and no sales experience, he was able to find a job in sales. Lack of experience meant nothing, because Dominick believed in himself all along. Dominick found joy in meeting and helping new people. In turning, his numbers were great, and he soon found himself a career he loved. The sales company he worked for was big on writing your goals, and in a tiny spiral notebook, he began to put his pen to pad. Soon, goals became sentences, and sentences became paragraphs. Before long, Don't Double Bread the Fish was born. Don't Double Bread the Fish, Dominick's first inspirational book, was not written from a pedestal, but from the trenches of digging ditches, picking up cigarette butts, and overcoming countless failures. Don't Double Bread the Fish is not about Dominick, but 39 chapters of the modern-day lessons he learned along the way. Dominick will never pretend to be an Olympic gold medalist or business titan. He'll be the first to admit he's just a guy who failed, been benched, suffered setbacks, lawsuits, punches to the face, and got up and brushed himself off. Dominick has no ill will of the past, but looks back and finds humor and strength. As the old saying goes, that which does not kill us only makes us stronger. So today, welcoming Dominick, your failures do not define you as the subject matter today. Welcome, Dominick. Thank you for coming on.
Hello there. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thank you for your bullet points. We're going to start right off, and we're going to discuss how did you come back from these failures. It sounds like a tough life. What do you think?
I don't want to be so tough. I don't know that I had a tough life, but at times in everybody's life there's setbacks and times where you get kicked or punched or beat down or fell, and I had a few of them, and you ask the question, how do you come back from them? And I say, it happens. The first thing you got to do is brush yourself off. You got to realize, okay, something bad happened to me. I'm going to brush myself off. I'm going to take a little bit of the blame, and now it's time to start over. Now it's time to set a goal and start over. And once you set that goal, once you write it down, you're on the steps, on the beginning of starting over.
Oh, what's that old adage, Dominic? What am I looking for? You become stronger from your setbacks or your negative experiences. Is that what you're trying to say here?
Absolutely. That which does not kill you will only make you stronger. I think that's the one. And really, each one made me a more well-rounded individual, made me appreciate things more, made me just realize when I was down, things weren't that bad, and when you're up, things aren't that great. There's a story in the book about life being like a roller coaster. You go up, you go down, sometimes you go in loops, and sometimes you're back at the beginning again. Yeah, life's like a roller coaster.
Well, it's what you're saying is you learn from your lessons, and I think most of our credit and finance people out there can relate to this. And the reason why I say that is, well, I've got 4 decades behind me, way behind me, thank the Lord, of credit management functions. So I can actually say with some type of confidence that because we weren't really trained in what we do as a credit management professional, I don't know if a lot of our listeners know this. I think they do. There is no formal education for credit management professionals out there at this point. Finally, the UCLA Extension University has put out an actual course for credit analysts, and that's the first that I'm aware of. But I don't know everything, so there could be others. But the bottom line of it is there is few, if any, people that have been trained to be a credit manager, and they certainly weren't born to be a credit manager. So a lot of what credit managers have gone through has been this type of success, failure, success routine. So I think they're kind of used to it. If we could get some callers on here, we could talk about it a little bit. Callers, give us a call. Let's talk about this a little bit. Dominick's here to help us. Go ahead, Dominick. I'm sorry.
No, I appreciate the opportunity, and I think it's just a matter of understanding when you've been down, when you've been out, you just got to brush yourself off, and get ready to fight another day. You know, sometimes bad things are going to happen to you, and when you're down, I saw this thing on the internet the other day. It was a picture of a lion, and it said, instead of why me, it said, try me. So instead of being moping around saying, oh, I'm never going to be able to do it, this happened to me, I can't start over, I'm down, I guess I'm never going to be where I want to be. That's the point where you need to step up and say, I'm going to be where I want to be. And me in the book myself, I don't say I'm a tight end, as you said, or anything like that, but if I want to, I will be, because I'll set a goal, I'll move forward towards it, and I'll tell the world, and eventually I'll get to where I want to be.
Tell me a little bit about your book, Dominick. Don't double bread the fish. How did you come up with that title, and what's it all about?
Well, the book is an inspirational book. It's 39 chapters of each with its own inspirational lesson. It could be a story about a conversation I had with you 10 years ago where you told me something, maybe never give up, or a story about when you were a kid and got beat up, and I kept that story in my mind, and then would relate it to a time maybe in business when I went broke in business, or when I grew up picking up cigarette butts in my dad's landscape company, or when I was a landlord buying houses. I would take those lessons that I learned, the positive, the inspirational ones, the humorous ones, and put them in the book. The Don't Double Bread the Fish, I'm a former restaurateur, and that title is kind of an ode to a time in the restaurant business when I served some green, bad, smelly fish that I probably shouldn't have served, and made a couple people sick. And the lesson in the book to that is, when I did it, I was trying to save a